Hello everyone, I'm Connor and welcome to the screening room. Today I'm going to be talking about my predictions for the 2021 Academy Awards. Before I get started, be sure to subscribe so you can see all my content where I'm going to be talking about more stuff about movie news, rankings, reviews, and more. Today I'm going to be going through my predictions for the Academy Awards Best Picture category as of now, which is November 2020. We've already lost movies like In the Heights, West Side Story, Dune, Last Night in Soho, No Time to Die, Marvel's Eternals, and so many more get pushed back into later 2021, so they're going to be eligible for next year's Academy Awards in 2022. Now, without further ado, let's talk movies. At number 10, I have The Father, the movie about an old man with dementia who moves in with his daughter who needs to care for him in his old age. Now, this movie is starring Olivia Colman, who just won an Oscar 2 years ago and edged out Glenn Close, who could even be nominated this year in the same category with her from Hillbilly Elegy, and Anthony Hopkins, who last won an Oscar in the 70s for Silence of the Lambs. Now, these two have both been getting stellar reviews out of Sundance, which is a festival that happens very early on in January. But it just recently screened at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, and still got good reviews. And its release date is being pushed to late February, which just edges it in for this year's Academy Awards. With all the good reviews holding over and a late release date to keep it fresh in the Academy's mind, this could easily garner a Best Picture nomination when nominations roll around in March. Now, up next at number 9, I have Minari, the story of a Korean family in the 80s who moved to a farm in Alabama to pursue their American dream. Now, this one also premiered at Sundance in January alongside The Father, but this ended up winning the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance, which gave it lots of buzz early on distributing this film. And they're going to do a great job with this. As well, all of the acting is getting so much praise, with Steven Yeun being projected as a major Best Actor contender for this year's category. One of the weaknesses of this film is that it's being compared to The Farewell, another story about an Asian family that premiered at Sundance the Oscar season just before. But unfortunately, The Farewell didn't score any nominations at the Oscars. And as well, Minari just got snubbed from a bunch of awards at the Gotham Awards, which is an independent award ceremony that happens very early on in award season. Now, this could spell doom for Minari, but like The Father, it has a February release date to keep it fresh in the Academy's mind, and personally, I could see this going all the way. Now, next up, I have News of the World, the story of a Civil War veteran who is tasked with taking a young girl across America to reunite her with her family. Now, really for this, I only have to say 2 words to get you to think Oscars. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks plays the lead Civil War veteran in this, and Tom Hanks is so beloved with the Academy that he could just win. I don't think he will, but he could. And as well, Helena Zengel is getting very good reviews early on as the young girl in this story. Now, originally, I didn't think this was going to get any nominations. I thought that this was going to get bad reviews and that it would tank and it wouldn't be thought about come Oscar season, much like last year's Goldfinch. But this has a Christmas release date, which Little Woman last year also had a Christmas release date and did very well, and was also set in early times. So this could squeeze in and get a bunch of nominations, as well as a bunch of technical nominations, considering that a lot of our high-tech fantasy sci-fi films are not in contention this year. Now, I've heard someone say that Tom Hanks is now a buzz killer for movies for Oscar potential. But last year's A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood proved that Tom Hanks could still get a nomination for an Oscar after being snubbed for over 16 years after his nomination in Castaway. So with Tom Hanks and a Christmas release date, this one is set for gold. Now, next up, I have Ma Rainey's Black Bottom at number 7. The story of Ma Rainey, a soul singer from the 1920s who is creating her album and battling for control of her music and her style. Now, like how I said that Tom Hanks could easily just signal Oscars for News of the World, I have another 2 words that could signal Oscar gold for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Viola Davis, who just won an Oscar 5 years ago for Fences. And may I note that Fences was based off of a play written by August Wilson, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is also written by a play from Oscar Wilson. So while Viola Davis has been getting great reviews out of critic screenings, someone who has also been getting even better reviews is Chadwick Boseman, where he's here in his final screen role as Levy, Ma Rainey's trumpet player. Now, these two could easily take home Best Actress and Best Actor. But what about the other categories? Well, everything technical, from production design to makeup and hairstyling to score, has been getting pretty good reviews. So this could easily punch itself into the top contenders for Best Picture. At number 6, I have Judas and the Black Messiah, the story of Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party. Now, this one as well doesn't have much information about it, but Fred Hampton has also appeared in another movie this year, with later to come on that. But in this movie, he is played by Daniel Kaluuya, who was recently nominated for Best Actor in the great movie Get Out. And as well, this is also starring Lakeith Stanfield, who has been getting rave reviews out of everything he does. Personally, he's one of my most favorite actors on the come up, and he really needs a nomination for something that he does in recent time. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic this year, the Oscars extended their eligibility period this year from December 31st to February 28th. And Judas and the Black Messiah is taking advantage of this release date by releasing on February 26th, 2 days before the eligibility period ends. With that release date, this is primed to get attention from the Academy. And between, as I mentioned before, the two great actors leading this movie and a great story to base off of, this could easily spell Oscars when it releases. Next up, I have Soul, the story of a jazz musician whose soul gets separated from his body, and he learns about how souls and personalities are created and needs to make his way back to his own body. Now, what makes this movie unique could also be what hurts it most, and this is the fact that it is an animated movie from Pixar. Now, in the past, only 3 animated movies have ever been nominated for Best Picture. But which ones are those? We have Beauty and the Beast from Disney, Up from Pixar, and Toy Story 3, also from Pixar. Now, if any studio can take home Best Picture with an animated movie, it's Pixar, no question about it. And Soul has been getting rave reviews out of the festivals that's been playing at, and it was chosen as one of the movies that would have been premiered at Cannes this year, which is huge for an animated movie. And especially with Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. As well, this movie is directed by Pete Docter, who is a Pixar regular, who has done movies for Pixar such as Up, which I mentioned has already been nominated for an Academy Award, Inside Out, which is very similar to Soul, which many people have been saying, and Coco, which also got rave reviews. So, Pete Docter has proved that he can make a great animated movie, and I think that this year, Soul could push past the animated barrier and get Best Picture, like how Parasite pushed past the foreign language barrier and won Best Picture last year. Now, at number 4, I have One Night in Miami, the story of 4 inspirational African Americans in the 60s who meet up together after one of Cassius Clay's fights and talk about their own experiences. Now, this is a movie that I fortunately got to see from a TIFF digital screening this year. And let me say, it's really good. With great performances from Kingsley Ben-Adir and Leslie Odom Jr., they propel this movie forward. And as well, one important thing to note is that this is directed by Regina King in her feature directorial debut. And she just won a supporting actress Oscar 2 years ago for If Beale Street Could Talk. So she's proven that she can win an Oscar. And with her getting so many good reviews as a director, she could also get a Best Picture nomination. As well, this is based off of a stage play, which is one of the major concerns with the movie, as it very much keeps that stage play presence. But honestly, the movie just pushes past that, and it's great. When it comes out, I recommend everyone see it. It's great. This could win. Before I get into my top 3, please let me know what you think that you've seen this year could get nominated in the comment section below. Now, these top 3, if the Oscars were today, any 3 of them could win. But it's still early on, so anything could change. So now, let's get into my top 3. At number 3, I have Nomadland, the story of a modern-day nomad who travels across the US after she loses everything during the 2008 economic crisis. Now, as well as One Night in Miami, I did see this one at TIFF, and I love this one even better. And one of the main reasons is that Frances McDormand is our lead character in this, and she is such a driving force throughout the entire thing. As well, Chloe Zhao is directing this, and she is so creative and so unique with every shot she shoots. Now, in an already stacked Best Actress category this year, I could see Frances McDormand winning, which is very big considering she's up against names such as Viola Davis, Amy Adams, and Kate Winslet. But as well, we could also see Chloe Zhao become the first female to win Best Director this year. And if she and Regina King get nominated, this could be the first year that 2 women are ever nominated in the Best Picture category. Now, one of the big main concerns about the movie is that some people say it drags on for a little too long, but everything is just so well creatively done in here. And this is one that I recommend once it comes out to the public that everyone needs to watch. At number 2, I have May, the story of Herman J. Mankiewicz, a screenwriter who goes through many troubles while writing and creating his next movie. Now, what movie is this, you may ask? Well, it's none other than Citizen Kane, one of the movies that is regarded by many as one of the best films of all time. Now, this screams Oscars, and it's basically just begging for everything. And some people have been saying that it begs for it too much, but in a year that, we had La La Land almost win Best Picture, we could also have a year where Mank could just win Best Picture. As well, we have Gary Oldman and Amanda Seyfried in lead and supporting roles, and they've both been getting great reviews, with Gary Oldman already winning 3 years ago for playing Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour, and Amanda Seyfried never being nominated, to the surprise of many. So between those 2 great actor nominees, and considering the film is shot in black and white, it's creating many of the sets from Citizen Kane again, and all the makeup and hairstyling, and all the other production design, this screams Best Picture. But I still have one more movie keeping it out of the number 1 slot. And that movie just so happens to be The Trial of the Chicago 7. The story of the trial that occurs out of the fallout of the protests at the 1968 Democratic National Convention. So I just watched this 1 week ago on Netflix, and I'm filming this in the aftermath of the US election, and this couldn't have been released at a better time. The film shows so much political conflict between the government and protesters who want what they feel is right for the country. And considering that we are seeing a lot of this happening in the US right now, many people are drawing comparisons, which very much strikes a tone with many Oscar voters. Now on to some of the performances in Trial of Chicago 7. Sacha Baron Cohen is such a driving force in this movie, and I feel like he should be a lock for supporting actor. As well, we have Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Mark Rylance, and Frank Langella, who are all such great actors in this movie and could easily fill the supporting actor category. This is also directed by Aaron Sorkin, who wrote The Social Network alongside David Fincher. And his writing and his directing is one of the many things being praised for this. So we could see a Fincher-Sorkin showdown for Best Director this year. With all of the political timeliness, the great directing, and the fantastic performances this year, this is one of the main reasons I have Trial of Chicago 7 as my number 1 prediction for Best Picture this year. Now, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned on my channel, where I will also soon be going over my predictions for all of the acting categories. Thank you for watching, and be sure to come back.